I live in Portland.
You are a clown, and you live in Portland, Oregon, and you're having trouble meeting people.
Yes, well, I grew up here and I'm traumatized.
There's gotta be other clowns in Oregon. Hello?
Oh my God. Hi.
Who is this?
Hi, I'm, what name did I gave Flea, that's my name.
How are you doing, Flea?
I'm doing kind of crappy right now,
Why?
to be honest. I'm just, like, really in my, like, depression and stuff.
Flea, it says here that you used to be a professional clown.
Yes.
So you are a stereotypical sad clown.
Yes. But that's actually not what my clown character isn't sad.
Your clown character
me as a
isn't sad.
person. No, the clown is very cheery, goofy, sneaky, sexy.
A sexy clown? What kind of sexy clown?
Yeah. Well, I would like do a strip tease where I would roll around in broken glass.
You did a striptease where you would roll around in actually broken glass?
Yeah, like I would break beer bottles before the show. And roll around in broken beer bottles.
Did that ever hurt?
Surprisingly, not that often, no.
How did you train yourself for that to not hurt?
There's a lot of spiritual stuff with pain, like know about piercings and how people do like pain tribe stuff, or they do suspension.
I have
and
not heard
things
of
like
pain
that.
tribe stuff.
Well, there's people who do like suspension, or they'll like play pierce their body, and I would kind of say it's like that, where you kind of just accept it as it's happening. I've done like the bed of nails stuff, like sideshow bed of nails, where you lay on the bed of nails, and it doesn't hurt that bad. I don't really know how to explain it. It just doesn't really hurt.
So, Flea, it says here that you're a former clown, and you got sober, and then when you got sober, you stopped going out and clowning around. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
Yes. Well, so I lived in New Orleans, and it's very a drunk city.
Yeah.
So when I got sober, there was like almost nothing to do that didn't involve like people being wasted or on ketamine. So I just stopped going out, and this was like way before COVID happened too. So, because then COVID happened, and then I had to isolate even more. And I regret not clowning at home without the event of it all.
So do you feel as though the fact that you're sober now means that you no longer can go out and clown?
No, I moved out of New Orleans, and I'm in Oregon now. And I go out every so often trying to find community. And I've dressed up as a clown. I dressed up as a clown for Halloween. And I went out to a movie. And there's a sex club here where I dressed up as a clown at. Then I got COVID, so.
Why are you depressed right now?
I just don't really have a lot of friends or community, and it's just sad. I've lost a lot of friends, like, from death and things.
Flea, you're a clown. You're a clown, Flea.
I know.
And what I mean by hold on. Now, what I mean by that, you live in Oregon. There's gotta be other clowns in Oregon for you to go fucking clown around with. Have you tried to go out and find people to clown around with?
Yeah, I have. I grew up where I'm living now, so like, I have.
Okay, and why has that not been fruitful for you?
No, I can't seem to make a lot of connections that last. You know, it's like everybody's got an opposite work schedule, or like they're going through their own shit, or don't respond, or they're performing at bars too much, and I just still am figuring out how I feel at bars as a person who doesn't want to drink.
Is it hard for you to be in a bar at all?
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I tend to want to drink, and you know, there's a shitty feeling. I want to drink when you know it's going to cause harm.
Have you ever done any events of any kind where you have invited other people into your domain, where you pick the venue and you sort of set the scene and invite people? Have you done anything like that?
Yes, and it was successful once, and we went and saw Korn, and it was awesome.
Okay, so it was successful, and you saw Korn, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So why don't you do it? Why have you never done it again?
Cool.
Why have we only done it once?
Well,
this should be a recurring thing. If it's that awesome.
Well, it was like Korn's farewell tour or something, and but me and that person don't hang out that often because they're like busy, and I don't know why we don't hang out more often.
You said it's Korn. You know, you said that you don't do it anymore because it's Korn's farewell tour. But Flea, there are other things to do in the world besides see Korn that you can do with with clown people.
There absolutely is. Yeah, I don't know.
And it was just one person. It was just you and this other person going to see Korn.
It was me and a friend of theirs that I just met that day going to Korn. And actually, funny enough, they worked down the street from me.
Dude, where do you live? You live in Oregon?
Yeah.
I'm Googling Oregon clown meetup right now.
I live in...
What part of Oregon do you live in? What part of Oregon do you live in?
I live in Portland.
You live in Portland, or you are a clown, and you live in Portland, Oregon, and you're having trouble meeting people.
Yes, well, I grew up here, and I'm traumatized.
There was recently there was a fucking clown. I'm on Google right now. There was a clown festival in Portland.
Oh, I did not know that. That's hilarious.
You got to put yourself out there. Here.
Yeah.
What is boxofclowns.com? Yeah. I'm on here. I'm like Googling Portland clown shit for you right now.
Thank you for using Google for me.
What is Portland clown? There's a Portland clown bar.
There used to be.
There's a Portland clown bar. Yeah. What are you doing? It's Friday night. Why are you calling my show? Go to the Portland clown bar right now, Flea. Look at this.
I've been there.
Oh, I forgot.
I don't have
a... Oh, no, I'm dumb. I forgot. I forgot.
If there's like a show maybe, or if there's like, it's okay. I understand. It's. I used to do. I mean, that's what I used to do. I would go to bars. I've been there. I got drunk there with people. I went to a birthday party, but I got really drunk and did a bunch of drugs and drove around drunk.
Okay, so your problem is that you're a clown and you live in Portland, and there's a bunch of fun clown Portland shit to do, but it's all at bars, and you feel like you're not at a point yet in your sobriety where you can be at a bar and not be very tempted to drink.
It's hard to clown sober. Yes.
It's hard to clown sober. You know what's funny? I have a friend who's a clown, and she's sober, and I'm dead serious. I have a friend who's a clown, and she's sober, and she still finds a way to clown around in her sobriety.
Yeah. There's a lot more to it that I don't want to. There's a lot of really traumatic stuff that I don't want to talk about because other people, or the people are listening. So it's gonna happen. I'm just like, how do I like shake off the ick, of things I miss to do? Because even though like I don't draw anymore, I barely draw. I don't do any creative stuff.
I'm on Facebook right now. Did you know that there's a monthly clown meetup in Portland?
I did not know that.
There's a monthly clown meetup. Let's see where it is. If it's at a bar, then we're fucked. But let me.
I mean, I could maybe hang out at a bar. I like mocktails, but it's just I don't understand why people can't hang out outside. Like, why can't people do things outside of bars? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me because we could drink at home.
The reason why they do is because people are afraid of each other, and alcohol makes you less afraid of people. It's not a great thing, but that is the answer to your question.
Yeah. I also was told that I over communicate.
Who told you you
maybe an
over
autism thing? I don't know.
Who told you?
A lot of people say that.
Did you say that that was an autism thing?
Yeah, it might be an autism thing. Not really sure.
In what way? What do you feel like you over communicate?
Like I don't like. There's certain ways people communicate where they don't say certain things because it's inappropriate. Like I'm just like too honest.
Tell me the last time you felt. Tell me the last time you felt as though you over communicated something.
I live with a bunch of men who don't clean, and I asked if they could please clean because I'm not their mother. And I feel like maybe I shouldn't have communicated it that way. Maybe. That's how I felt in that moment.
You shouldn't have asked them. Like you shouldn't have asked them at all if they could clean.
No, like I shouldn't.
You shouldn't have made the comment about being their mother.
Yeah, that part, because I feel like that's maybe it's something traumatizing to say for someone. I don't know. Maybe they have some kind of cognitive. They can't do things because they're also having a hard time. I don't know. I'm just trying to be like, why aren't they doing it? I'm just trying to find empathetic ways to talk about things.
I wish my roommate, when I was in college, I wish my roommate would assume that I don't do the dishes because I have trauma. They were not as kind to me.
Yeah,
they were mad at me for not
I've lived in
doing the dishes.
Portland. Yeah, well, I've been doing communal living my whole life, and it's just like always been a source of problems. Not in this house, surprisingly, but they don't like wipe their shit off the toilet. It's strange. They also, they do things like they put trash next to the trash can. Very confusing.
Okay. You're afraid that you over communicate. You don't want to be at bars, and do you have any friends?
That's the thing. I've been struggling with this and wondering, like, what friendship means and like if you're not seeing people or hanging out with them or talking to them very often, what makes a friend? And I grew up here, so it's really weird that people I know from here that I grew up around for over 10 years, and we don't talk or see each other. And it's just, like, I'm on Instagram, I see things, everybody's hanging out with each other and doing things. I just don't know, I don't know if I have friends. Yeah.
Are you friends? How you said? How many people do you live with?
I live with 4 men, and I am a trans person.
Okay. But how are you? Are you on good? Are you friendly or friends with any of them, or do you hate all?
Yeah, one of them's like the homie. Like I trust him. He really likes my dogs. The other guys, I just met them when I moved in, so they're roommates. One of them I'm really uncomfortable around, but.
How long have you lived in Portland for?
I moved here at the beginning of COVID, and I don't know how long ago that's been. Off the top of my head.
And then when did you get sober?
Like a year before I moved here.
Okay.
But I moved away from here to over 10 years ago because I grew up here.
Okay. So you've been sober for a long time.
Yeah, for a while, and I'm not like straight edge. Like I'm like California sober.
Okay. Okay. Dude, come on, in Portland, there has got to be some fucking Facebook group of clowns that like to hang out and get high. Where is that? That room exists. I know it.
So you know how people don't like Portland? You know how people don't like Portland?
What, is that the perception that people don't like Portland?
Because it's like passive aggressive and there's tender queers and, there's memes all over the internet. You could probably find them like I didn't do the dishes because I'm traumatized.
Right.
It's very Portland.
Right.
It's just people don't communicate here. It's very, and I live in New Orleans. New Orleans is a very caring place. Like everybody talks to each other.
Damn it, I want to find the group of folks wearing their clown outfits, fucking heating up dabs.
Honestly,
and I want you to.
I'm going to be honest. It's probably drag shows where that exists.
Okay.
Because drag
are the drag shows usually at bars?
Yeah, I've gone to a few of them. Yeah, it's usually at a bar. It's usually on the weekend. I work on the weekend. It's always like, it's not accessible for people that can't stand for very long and work on the weekend. So it's just like communities aren't built outside of alcohol culture, I guess. I don't really. I've been struggling with that a lot, like trying to find how to be a part of things.
Can I float something? Can I float something by you?
Of course. All
right. So you were telling me about when you went to Corn.
Yeah.
You hosted a big Corn event.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you had it. The initiative existed within you to create your own experience based on what works for you, and then invite other people into that experience. That is something you have successfully done before. Even if it was only with 2 people, you've done it before.
Thank you for telling me that, because it's true.
Okay. Yes, it is true. So why don't you... Because this is what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you, and what I've been thinking about this entire call, is clowns who like to get high and hang out. There's got to be at least 200 clowns who like to get high and hang out in the city of Portland, Oregon. But probably more. And I bet if you, so I don't know how. Actually, I do know how. Facebook, Meetup, Instagram. I guess the potential exists for you to be entrepreneurial about this and create your own club, because that's what you do. Because listen, everyone who's listening to this, just that's what you when there are all these clubs out there and you don't fit into them because you don't drink or you don't identify as this or you're not this or you're not that or you can't do that. What you do if they don't let you into the club, what do you do, Flea? What do you do every time the people aren't letting you into the clubs or because you can't go? You start your own club.
Well,
you start the club.
Outside and bother them.
No, that's not what you do. You don't hang outside the bottom of them. You start the club, Flea. So start the club.
Okay.
Start the clowns that like to get high at the Chuck E. Cheese club. Whatever that is.
Okay.
Someone in the chat just said, grab life by the red honking nose. And I'm going to second that.
I don't wear a big nose, but yes.
I mean, listen, that's just me telling you what to do. But what do you think about all of it?
I take your words very seriously. And I thank you very much. I'm having a very hard time just with the whole madness of reality and all of it, you know.
I hope that this phone call made you feel at least a little bit more empowered to start a club of some kind, because that's just what I'm getting.
Well, it's really funny you're saying that. Okay, it's really funny you're saying that. It's very funny. Oh, great. I hope I could do that.
Flea, is there anything else you want to say to the people at the computer before we go?
Yeah, I hope everyone else is doing okay also, because I know that we're all kind of going through it with our own stuff. Like, really real out there.
Flea, one day, listen, Flea, I'm going to Portland next year, and when you're having your 13th,
I'll show up as a clown.
Please show up as a clown to the show that I do in Portland.
I do all sorts of things. I snort condoms. I shove nails in my head. I do all sorts of stuff.
Oh, please show up and show up ready to do all of that, because I will call you on stage.
Okay, cool. Oh, and also fuck capitalism.
Say that again?
Fuck capitalism.
Fuck capitalism, but also go to www.therapygecko.com and buy my t-shirts.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Bye. You too.
I liked Flea a lot. I'm a huge believer of that. I'm a huge believer of that shit. If you're looking around and you can't get into any of the clubs, just start your own club. I don't know, and look, some people have problems doing that for whatever their reasons is, however legitimate those reasons are. But Flea hosted the fucking corn event, so I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a dick, but I just want Flea to. I just know that there is a room of clowns getting high and hanging out and having a good time in Portland, and I'm just over here ideating on how we get Flea into that room, and I hope they find it. Hello?
Hello?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
What's your name, sir?
My name is Braden.
Braden, what's your life like?
Recently it's kind of been drama filled, but I mean, other than that, it's been a normal life. Ups and downs.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that you wanted to call in to talk about?
Really just what, life is like as a DoorDash driver, but there's one specific thing I wanted to talk about
Please.
When I delivered to a place that just had a shooting.
What place just had a shooting that you delivered to?
Yeah, like right as I was delivering to it, there was a shooting.
Well, there was so there was a shooting in progress when you were delivering there.
Yes, like I picked up the food, the shooting occurred, and I got there before the cops did.
That's extremely funny that the DoorDash driver can arrive before the police does.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of funny.
So was there what? Tell me the story.
So basically, I was just in my area, I deliver a lot of Chick-fil-A because that's what's mostly popular here. And I went to go in and pick it up, and I have to park in like a parking lot that's like beside Chick-fil-A because it's just too busy to try to park in the Chick-fil-A. So, I pick it up, I come back out, and as I'm walking to my car, I'm kind of parked on the side of a strip mall. And as I'm getting into my car, I hear a series of pops in the distance. And then I hear kind of like what sounds like a rock being thrown against the side of like the building. And I didn't really think much of it at the time. I was like, oh, it's just someone with their car exhaust in the distance, It's not that big a deal. And, I have to drive across the street because I was delivering to the mall. And as I pull up into the mall, I get the food, I start to walk in, and there's a bunch of people out, out by the front being like, oh, is it safe or whatever? I'm like, why are they asking that? And then I look over, and there's a car with like a bullet hole through the windshield. And there were security guards outside, like taking a bunch of notes and stuff. And this lady comes out and she's like, oh no, my shooting or my car has nothing to do with your shooting. This is from a different one in a different town. I was like, that's a little
so
weird.
she just drove up to the shooting. She just drove up to a shooting with a bullet hole in her car just from a different shooting.
From different instance, yes.
Where do you live, man?
And I live, it's a place called Rocky Mount, North Carolina. If anyone knows North Carolina, my town is nicknamed Murder Mount. I mean, there's a shooting that happens like every other day.
Wow, and I thought North Carolina was boring.
Not Rocky Mount.
Okay, so continue.
And at this time, it's still not, clicking in my head that there was a shooting that happened. And, I'm walking in, a bunch of people are standing at the doors being like, I'm not coming out till I know it's safe. I'm like, what the world is happening? And I go in, I deliver the food, I start to walk out, and then I see like 15 cop cars with all of their lights on, just all over the parking lot. And they are like completely sectioning off a section of the parking lot. As I'm walking out, they are doing it. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? And I go and ask someone next to me, and they're like, oh, a shooting just happened. I was like, just now? And they're like, yeah. So I'm guessing that rock that I heard hit the side of the building I was at was actually a bullet that was flying over my head.
Does this kind of thing happen to you often when you are door dashing around? Like, do you just live in a generally unsafe area?
Well, I don't live here. I live in a different area. I just come here for work. But some of these things do happen, yeah. Because there was another instance of where I was going to the Walmart to pick up an order. And there was another shooting that happened there. But the cops got there before I did and completely sectioned off the parking lot so you could not get in. And literally one stoplight saved me, because if I was like 30 seconds, ahead of where I was, I would have been in there when they sectioned off the parking lot.
Oh, and you would have just been stuck inside of the parking lot?
Yeah, I would have been stuck inside the parking lot because they didn't let anyone out of the parking lot for like 2 hours.
Wait, so that doesn't make sense. And I don't know if either of us are going to know what we're talking about here, but if there's an active shooter in a Walmart, why would they not let people out of the parking lot? Is it because they're like suspects or something?
I think that's what it was. I think they thought that the shooter was still in the parking lot, so they were trying to keep them from going away. But they don't really take it too seriously because, it happens like every other day. And they like to say that it's a controlled shooting because they're not like shooting random people. They're like people that they're actually going for.
Do you get tipped well?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, some orders are good, some orders are also bad. I usually don't like to work after dark.
Yeah, I wouldn't too if I were you.
And there's also a bunch of crackheads in my area. There's one, he calls himself Crackhead Joe.
Crackhead Joe. Have you spoken with him?
I have. I've spoken with him on different occasions. One of them, I didn't really talk to him in this instance, but he was in the same restaurant I was picking up from. And this old lady came in to order, and he just he looks at her, and then he looks at me, and he looks back at her, and he goes, "Hey, ma'am, do you know who I am?" And she just looks at him, and she goes, "I don't know who you are, sir." And he just yells, "I'm Crackhead Joe," and then he runs out of the restaurant and runs down the road. And I think that's the last time I saw him.
Do you think there is, like, I mean, do you think there is some kind of clout to be gained from being, like, the crackhead of the area that he was kind of trying to capitalize on when he was talking to that woman, and maybe that's what that was?
I mean, I think there could be some kind, and also maybe if he got on, like, social media, he could have been, like, an influencer. But he was like 70 years old. He might have been younger, but, the crack kind of, accelerates in the aging process.
Well, it's interesting because I think, people in general, there's a desire for an identity of some kind, whatever that identity may be. And maybe he was looking for, he was like, and he was like, this could be, everyone wants to have a thing. Like, like I'm the Gecko guy. Some people are like, oh, I'm a skateboarder. I love to I define myself by skateboarding. And Crackhead Joe, I don't know Crackhead Joe. And I wouldn't call him, it sounds to me, I think it is offensive to call him Crackhead Joe, but I think it sounds to me like that's what that's what he denotes himself as. And if he's like, if he calls himself that, I'm like, all right, I'll, call you whatever you want me to call you. And it could be something that he gets
really offensive
pride out of, but I don't know.
Crackhead Joe?
Say that again.
I said, is it really offensive if he wants to be called it? I mean, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of another famous person, like The Rock kind of likes to be called The Rock, and Crackhead Joe just wants to be called Crackhead Joe.
I'm glad he found his lane.
Yeah, at least he's happy.
Well, we don't know that. But Braden, is there anything else you want to say to the people of the computer before we go?
I guess just try to be safe, and if you hear something that you think's a car exhaust, it may not be a car exhaust. It may be an active shooting.
We learn new things every day on the Therapy Gecko podcast. Thanks for calling, man.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Is this Lyle?
Yeah, who's this?
This is Colin.
What's going on with you, Colin?
Not much. How you doing, man?
I'm a Gecko on the computer.
You are, yeah.
So, Colin. What's up? Why did you call me? Why the fuck did you call me, Colin? You tell me right now. You tell me right now before I throw a fit. I'm pissed off, Colin. No, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know why I did any of that just now. What's going on, Colin? Tell me everything. Tell me nothing.
Well, I called in because for like years now, I've had this mindset where it's tough to explain, but essentially, like, I'm in college right now and I meet a pretty good amount of people, and I usually find myself judging them pretty quick, but I know that's not really good to do, but I find myself proving myself right about judging them a lot. And so I'm in this conflict of, like, do I try and be open-minded and then, like, end up proving myself right, or do I just stick with my judgments? Because usually I feel like, I don't know, like, I'll give an example. I feel like I'm not explaining it poorly.
No. I don't think you're not explaining it poorly, but I would love to hear the example.
So a common thing that I experience is meeting a lot of kids that were brought up really well, and like really fortunate with their circumstances, and like they're nice and all, but I've learned like 99% of the time, like, I don't know, like they're going to be like rude, or like they're going to have some kind of like glaring character flaw. Like, I have a lot of people who I was friends with, and then, you know, I was hanging out with them and their friends, and then they treat you completely different. Or like, I work in the service industry, and a lot of these people will like treat me really badly just because like I'm working. And so I find myself just in like normal day to day meeting similar types of people, and I just kind of like, I don't really treat them like I'll have any kind of friendship with them. Like, I immediately call it off in my head. Okay. And when I don't do that, I just find myself doing it anyways. You know what I mean? Is that making sense?
When you say that you judge people a lot, what judgments are you typically making about people?
Just that like they'll be like a crummy person, or like selfish, or like rude, like a lot of like common negative character traits, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Let me think here. Do you talk to, like, how soon into talking to people are you making these judgments?
Not like in 5 seconds. Probably like, say I have like a class with someone where we have a group project, and I'll work with them for like 45 minutes to like an hour. Usually at some point in there, like, I find that like I can base off of maybe how they present themselves, or how they talk, or how like they'll treat people in the group, that like I can kind of gauge that they're this type of person that I've described, and like I'll just kind of call them off from there, and like I just work with them in that group project. But like, they kind of display a lot of red flags.
Yeah. I have some thoughts on this. I think one of the best things I've ever heard. That was a lot. One of the best things I've ever heard. It was a good thing. I don't know if it's one of the best things I've ever heard, but I heard this thing that someone said. Maybe it was Mark Manson or someone. They were like, you know, it is not people's job to present all of their best, most interesting, wonderful qualities to you, because that it's not in your control whether or not they do that. It is your job to, again, in working with what is within your control, to find and perceive the things about other people that are redeeming, interesting, and positive. So it sounds to me like you're approaching people with this inherent negative perspective of them, or like you ever heard the term confirmation bias?
I can't say I have, actually.
It's like if you're in a group project with some guy, and he's wearing like a nice shirt. You're like, oh, this guy's wearing a nice shirt. He must be an asshole. You're now going at your brain. You're now trying actively to. You're biasly attempting to perceive things about him that confirm your suspicion that he's an asshole. Does that make sense?
Okay. That makes perfect sense.
So if you were to just wipe your brain blank or even better, if you were trying to approach the world in some sense of, most people are good, most people do have redeeming qualities, most people are acting kindly, most people this, that, whatever positive things, your confirmation bias would work then the other way, where you would actually go out of your way to perceive things about people that confirm your bias, that they're nice, or they are friendly, or whatever it is. And the choice at the end of the day is yours as to how you want to see the world and how you want to see people, because so much of it is about like the mindset, and so if you decide, not even because, if you decide just because you want to live in a better version of the world where people are nice, you just decide that people are nice, that people are a certain way, or that people are interesting, or that people have redeeming qualities, or that people are just trying their best, and you go out in the world and you are now perceiving things in a way that are trying to confirm that bias, maybe you'll kind of solve this issue that you have of judging people too fast. Does any of what I just said make sense?
Yeah, that's I actually love that. That's extremely insightful. I've never might be a surprise, but I've never really thought of it like that. Okay,
cool. Good. Because here's the thing, dude, I don't know. This is why I don't like labels, and I think there is a thing where we're villainizing people a lot, or we're saying, oh, if you're this, then you're that, or just all this shit that is just a barrier against actually interacting with people and finding common ground with them. And I think it's a good thing to try to get yourself out of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I realize that, like, it kind of comes off bad, but it's tough. Like, I completely agree with you, but it's always tough because, like, I'll try and, like, look for the nice things in people, and like, I still just unfortunately end up, like, proving my judgments right.
Sure, yeah.
And it's just like a daily toss up in my head, because, like, I don't want to be that asshole that, like, sees a dude, like, driving a red Mercedes, and he's, like, a freshman in college, and it's, like, brand new, and it's like, okay, obviously, like, your parents probably bought that for you. And, like,
sure, yeah.
I try to, like, look at the guy and be like, okay, maybe, like, he's just a really fortunate guy, but, like, he's really hardworking, and, like, he's probably nice, and, like, he might even, like, help me in class. And then it's like 9 out of 10 times I'll, like, meet that guy, and it's like, oh no, yeah, he's actually an asshole.
Sure, yeah.
And I realize, like, just picturing, like, typical rich kid. But it's like that with a lot of different people.
Well, I think, well, first of all, none of what I'm saying means you have to be friends with anyone, or that you have to spend time with anyone that you don't want to spend time with.
Right.
Number one.
Right. I understand. Yeah.
If you're talking to this guy and he's, treating you in a way where it's like, I don't think I want to be friends with this guy, or I don't think I want to spend time with this guy. Totally don't spend time with him or try to be friends with him in order to, like, prove some hippie kumbaya peace thing. But in defense of the hippie kumbaya peace thing, I would say that, and this is all stuff that, like, I'm trying to ascribe to myself and don't do a perfect job of, so I hope I don't sound like, I've mastered this way of thinking, because it's just, kind of a recreational philosophy shit that I'm sure I contradict myself in my actions a lot all the time. But I mean, there's a thousand things about this guy driving the Mercedes that you don't know. You don't really know what his relationship with his family is like. You don't really know what it was like growing up for him. You don't know if he's happy. You don't know what his problems are. You don't know anything. And that doesn't mean that every, rich kid driving a Mercedes is secretly this, troubled child. But it doesn't mean any. All it means is that you don't know. And so
100%.
if you don't know, you cannot make the judgment.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
But I don't know, if you become friends with the kid, maybe he'll let you drive in his Mercedes, and that would be kind of cool. So maybe you should be friends with him. Or maybe he'll give you some money.
True.
Colin, is there anything else? Oh, no, please. I want to hear your thoughts.
I was just going to kind of agree with your point of, like, it's tough to be perfect about. And like, obviously you should jump to conclusions with people, but I think I agree with you. I think even if I prove myself right, it's probably worth it to look for the good things in people.
Yeah. And again, if you're talking to a guy and he's like just being an asshole to you, doesn't mean you have to be his best friend. Doesn't mean you have to. I mean, you don't have to do any of this shit, but for your own personal sake, of your own personal peace, I think you might be better off just understanding that you don't know anything about him, really.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a much better way to stick by it. It's a much better mindset.
Colin, is there anything else you want to say to me or the people of the computer or God or SpongeBob before we go?
Yeah, it's completely unrelated, but
sure.
I'm in the process of kind of working on a business right now, and it's really thrilling, and I'm very passionate about it. So if you have a dream that you'd like to chase, you should for sure chase it. I
like that. Thanks for calling, Colin.
Thanks for picking up. Have a go, man.
Man, all those business kids sure are assholes, aren't they? No, I'm just kidding. Colin seems like a nice guy. But I don't know that either. You could say the same thing about positive judgments, to be honest. Now that I'm thinking about it. Like, say someone's being all nice and shit. You don't know what is going on with them. I don't know. I think that's the point of this whole call, is that I don't know. Thank you for calling, Colin. Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
What's up?
How can I get you today?
Well, I told Sage 2 different things. I don't know which one she thought was more interesting.
Well, forget about that and forget about what you told anyone. What, as you are on the phone with me in this moment, do you desire to talk about?
Well, man, I guess kind of fresh on my mind. Yesterday I found out one of my friends died.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Died a couple of weeks ago. I didn't know about it.
You just found out yesterday and it happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay, well, I didn't know the guy very well. Do you play D&D, Dungeons and Dragons?
I don't play it myself, but I know what it is.
Okay, so he was a group of my friends' DM, so he ran the game. And we only played 3 or 4 times, so I didn't know him very well. But he stopped responding to our messages in our Discord chat. It's been a month. So I thought he just didn't want to play anymore. He was just kind of ghosting us. I just assumed that he was being an asshole. But then I got a message on Discord claiming from his brother that he was dead. But like he didn't use his real name; he used his Discord name. So I just assumed he was lying. And then I look up his name and find his obituary, and he died. Like he died on campus, like in the engineering building.
He died on the campus that you go to college on?
Yeah.
Were you close with this guy at all? I know you say you only played with him a couple times, but I mean, did you have any kind of like relationship?
I met him like 4 times just to play D&D. The extent I knew of him was his first name, so it's just kind of weird.
Okay. This seems to be, and it could be in a personal sense, it could be in a existential sense, it could be in any kind of sense, but this does seem as though it's affecting you in some way.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about it?
I feel really bad for assuming that he was being an asshole when he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got like, I was talking about it in class because I didn't see the text until yesterday morning, and I was in the middle of class, so I was telling people about it, and then like the whole class got involved, and they were like, dude, what if this guy's actually dead? And then I find out he's dead, and they're like, oh man, you're a horrible person. Because I didn't believe it, and I just feel really bad about it.
Your classmates told you that you're a horrible person?
Yeah, because I thought he was making it up. Like, how am I supposed to expect someone who hasn't messaged in a month is dead and not just ghosting us?
No, there's no room to assume anything or not assume anything. That didn't make sense. There's no room to assume anything.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a horrible person?
A little bit. I feel bad about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, listen, man, I don't think that it was of you to be able to assume that he was dead.
Right.
And also the idea that, he was ghosting you and that you were upset by that, that's an idea that comes from wanting to hang out with him, which is a good thing.
Right.
So no, I don't think that makes you a horrible person.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, you can't expect it. Dude is only 19. You can't just like assume people are dying when they don't answer. So I don't know.
How now you have friends who are friends with this guy. You have mutual friends with him.
Yeah. So other players in our D&D session.
And how have they reacted to this?
They didn't believe it either until we found the obituary for this dude.
Mm-hmm.
Do
we know how he died?
The obituary says breathing problems. Like he had trouble breathing. That could be anything.
Mm-hmm. How are you feeling talking about this? You sound upset.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's kind of put in perspective. Some of my other friends, I've been trying to catch up with them because, all these people I haven't talked to in months, I don't know what's going on with them either.
Interesting. Tell me more about that, this perspective that it's given you on other things.
Yeah, I guess I want to make sure all my other friends aren't dead. It's not something I ever thought about. I've never had like a close family member die, so I don't really know how to deal with death.
So this is making you want to reach out to other friends that you haven't spoken with in a while.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a good takeaway from this. You know, it's obviously very sad, but I'm glad that it's given you a sort of awareness of the fragility of your relationships, you know, because you really do never know when a person you haven't talked to in a while, whether they are AFK or, you know, if they're gone.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
What's your name again?
Daniel?
Daniel, I'm sorry to hear about your friend, man. Thank you for calling, Daniel.
Yeah, thank you.
I like Daniel. He's a nice guy. I hope that that was sad to hear about his friend. I hope it inspires him to want to catch up with old friends. Now I'm thinking about my old friends that I haven't seen in a long time. And how it's weird. Anything could happen. Check up on your homies, man. Check up on your homies. You never know what's going on. You can never really assume anything. This is, I guess, a lesson in assumption, perhaps. Could be. And to not do it.